Welcome to the top of the show note, where I tell you that we had a bit of an audio issue this week. Thankfully, nothing that we couldn't fix with our backup facilities. Just Randy's audio doesn't sound quite as crisp as it normally does. And I, on the other hand, turned off my fan so that, you wouldn't hear that in the background, thinking that, we'd have a normal show. Unfortunately, I didn't realize it was going to be 80 degrees. So I was sweating a little bit, and you can totally see it on my forehead, and I look totally gross. So just be thankful this isn't smell-o-vision, and you can't smell me. And also focusing on Drew's very crispy video and audio, which is perfect all of the time and has never failed us once. So go ahead and watch this show. I appreciate you guys sticking with us till next week, when we will bring you a much better video and audio experience. Thank you so much.
Welcome back to the Tailosive Tech Podcast with Nick and Randy back again.
Drew has
and we've
stroke.
got watch bands to talk about. Yeah, that's how I'm going to intro every podcast now. I'll just stuttering on it for a while. Target. We got some new watch bands this week, and that's all we're going to talk about for the entire episode.
I was really excited to get this watch band in the mail.
Good.
It was really just thrilling to get a new black magnetic loop Apple Watch band. It's made out of leather. It's so supple. And
Nick saw the new... Oh, please never use the word supple again. Nick saw the Pride bands were launched and decided to buy himself a black leather loop that was not new or limited edition at all. Unrelated. But Randy, on the other hand, bought something else. What did he get?
I bought this one. There you go. There it is. There you go, guys.
He bought something. I'm just hearing noises, and we don't get to see this.
I know. Hang on. I'll bring it in frame in a second. I'm just showing our people.
We know what it looks like.
Ta-da.
How do you like it?
So
you got a rainbow.
I got the
Taste the rainbow.
RGB. How's the color scheme? Anyway, I saw. It's like, oh,
You had it.
Yeah.
GBR.
There you go. I got the LGBT. No, RGB. I like the I like the color scheme. I think because white is always so clean, right? And it feels very Johnny Ivish and minimal and all that stuff.
Minimal.
And
I got white right now.
I absolutely love the color scheme, and I think white goes well with the black face. So or the black watch.
Contrast.
Yes. So I'm just showing our audience right there. Okay, so it's just cool to have the accent coloring of the cool schemes, like the more cooler tones, the galaxy colors of purple, blue, green. I like those colors. Mm-hmm. I don't mind the brighter or the warmer tones in the back, but I'm glad it's in the back so I don't have to see it. I like it. It's a nice change up because I haven't bought a new watch band in like 2 years. So
wow,
I'm trying to think of the last one I bought.
Yeah, it's been a minute for me. It's been quite a long time. It's been almost an hour.
It's almost an hour.
But
I might have to check my order history.
I could tell you the last time I got a watch band would probably be like out of sequence of buying a new watch, because I don't count buying the Series 4. I would say the last watch band that I bought was in like early no, it was late 2017. Yeah.
Wow.
This is the first watch band I bought since I went from the Series 0.
Was
you
this
get
just from boredom?
The dark green Nike one? Was that in 2017?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the dark green one. And to answer your question, boredom as in... ask your question again?
Like you were just bored with what made you buy this one? What stuck out about it? Just the colors? Or
he was sitting in quarantine for too long, and he got tired of staring at the white walls around him, he decided to get a white watch band to match.
Yeah, we'll go with that, but wrong.
Wrong.
I would say I think I said this on the show once, but for a quick moment in time, I bought a Series 3 and then very quickly... and I returned it very quickly because then...
That's right.
We ended up needing the money, we can allocate the money differently, so I was not in dire need of it, so I returned it. But when I got that Series 3, it came with a white watch band, and that was the first white watch band I ever had. And I liked it. I was like, ooh, this feels clean and minimal, and and just brighter, and it just, I don't know. I think a watch band, they say it's supposed to help you express, you in a sense too. And I noticed at that point, it's like, man, all I have are darker schemes and darker colors, and it gets a bit repetitive and redundant in the sense that if I'm just changing the colors, they're still there. I like the cooler tones, like the blue or even the green that I have, but again, I've had those for years. So I got this one because I looked at it and it's like, it gives you all a little bit of the colors. Awesome. And it's white. And I wanted the white watch band ever since I had the Series 3 for a second. And depending on who my audience is, I was like, oh yeah, I got it for Pride. But honestly, no, I'm being completely selfish in saying that I just like the multicolor use on the white.
It's just there for the color.
I'm there for the colors. So, I mean...
If I had to rate all the sport bands, like that is probably the coolest looking sport band we got going on right now.
I was tempted. I was really tempted to get it because
Drew
I
was the
believe
reason why
I
I bought
texted
it.
you guys.
Yeah.
I texted it to you guys, and I sent it with the SpongeBob. I don't need it. I don't need it.
And then I reply with my ending of the SpongeBob gif.
I need it.
And I got it.
I just looked it up. The last watch band I bought was December of 2018.
Oh, wow.
So, and I think that was with a gift card. So if you count with your own money, it's even further back.
Yeah.
And I actually have enough cash back racked up from the Apple Card that I could have bought the watch band just with my rewards, but I still didn't, just because I've got too many watch bands. It's the principle of the thing that the whole idea that the more watch bands you buy, the less you use them, because you have to remember to keep swapping them out. So
This is true.
I'm glad you enjoy yours, Randy.
However, I am going to have to return the watch band, and I only kept it around just long enough to show it for the show.
Oh no!
Baited and switched. That's what we call clickbait, folks.
Because these queers and... No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. This is going to actually segue into what I think we're going to end up talking about, that I think it's been alluded before in the past, but
okay.
I'll show you guys, and then I will show you guys, our audience, but give me one quick second.
Let's see what really bothers him.
He's taking it apart, folks. This is
I
never
have
a good
to.
sign.
I mean, they can see that part. I have to return it because when I got my package delivered to me yesterday or Thursday, we're recording. Oh no, today's
Friday.
Today's Friday. We're recording
Friday.
Earlier than usual, ladies and gentlemen.
This podcast is more dated than usual, people.
Exactly.
So if there's more news that we're not talking about, that's why.
Yeah, we're recording
It's an
on a
extra
Friday.
day old.
So, when I got my package delivered, it was by UPS, and when
Nope, that's it. Going back. No, can't have it.
You're not wrong, because when I got the package and I opened it, I was gonna do like a live stream. I was gonna, hey guys, look at that. And if I've been relatively radio silent since I received it because I opened it and my package was just beat to hell and back. It was
Really?
destroyed. It was
How
completely.
so? Do you have pictures? Where's the package?
It's outside the office right now. I don't want to step out of frame.
Okay.
I will probably grab it once I'm done talking, just so I can get to my point. I'll walk away for a moment and go grab it. But I was like, oh, okay, crap. I can't put it on my little wall of Apple products behind me.
Collection.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, that sucks, but that's fine. It's not the worst thing. And then I opened it. I was like, oh man, this is pretty. The box is pretty dense. So then it's like, oh,
So the
cool.
whole thing was like folded?
Well, it wasn't folded. I will show you. We'll get into the packaging in a moment.
Okay.
But when I put on the straps, I'm using the smaller strap right here, not the longer one. If you can see, because when I put the longer one in to the watch, it doesn't latch.
It's defective.
And I looked at the
For a
packaging
$50 band.
where my
Sue
package
Apple.
is completely bent and just it coincides with where the middle portion, this part right here will not actually fully go down or up, so it just slides right through. and it is right on. It coincides with where the bent in my packaging is. So
That's some bull crap.
I'm completely confident that like UPS or somewhere in the shipping line of things completely ruined my thing. So I grabbed the second one. I was like, oh, does this one latch? And it latches like that. So it's good. Just so you guys hear what I'm referring to is this part right here. Will not latch. I'm using the smaller one because it's not compromised. But this part right here doesn't push down or push up. So when it goes into the slot right here like that, it just slides right through. So I had to return it. I don't know. I would like to exchange it, but realistically, now I'm just kind of.
You got your pictures.
I got my pictures. I'm upset. No, but I still wanted to mix it up, and I do like the colors of it. But this to me
I thought it was something to do with the finish or the colors or something didn't match with something else. But
no, it had everything to do with the
defective
packaging and the shipping. So now, cautionary tale, which I don't even know how to make you guys be cautious of it, but like really inspect your stuff when it's delivered, because like this is not the first time I've had issues with UPS sending me gear or tech equipment. When I got my Cam Link, it was that one was shipped through. I didn't use Amazon, so I got that through UPS, and that packaging got pretty beat up too. UPS has been abusing boxes. Yeah.
I bet you someone who
street.
doesn't like this show works at UPS in your area and is just finding all of the packages with your name on them, just throwing them out the third story window.
They play whack-a-mole with your packages right before they deliver them.
It's very possible.
Them around.
Oh, is that
That's
that
gonna cost
Apple
Apple money
podcast? Now? Yeah.
Apple's going to take responsibility for that.
I know, and that's where.
Did you reach out to them?
I have been waiting to. I'm going to do it. I will be doing it today. I just don't know if by reaching out to them. I've never done a return before, so I don't know if I had to send it back like immediately or whatever. So I wanted to get
You've never done an. What about the Series 3?
Oh, a non-in-store return is what he's talking about.
Oh, okay. You always had a store you could go back to. This is new territory.
Oh yeah, this is new
Whereas
territory.
I always
just put it in a
return via
box
mail.
and send it to them with a label.
No, if I don't like something, I'm going to return it. I normally grab Nick and we'll kill 6 hours at a mall and then return. But yeah, so I've always gone in person because it's right here. I know it's a.
Are they opening yet?
They will be next week.
Cool.
Yeah, California. All right, let me rephrase. San Diego has been cleared to reopen malls from the mayor. Got governor approval for it, so the malls will start opening. I think as soon as next week. My wife knows more specifics about that. She's been following it because she works in that kind of line of work, so she's more attentive than I am. But I think they're going to start opening really soon. And when they do, if I can return the watch next week in person and just do a swap out, I'd much rather do that. But if I can't, so the thing is, I haven't called them yet because I didn't know. I want to get its airtime before I have to return it, just in case it was like right then and there type of a thing, because I've never done this before. So
they actually give you an extra 7 days to mail it, so you can
usually.
Yeah, you normally get about 3 weeks if you do it over mail. It's like it has to be postmarked by that day. But
I hear you.
Thank you, Apple.
Yeah, Apple's
Appreciate
super
it.
generous with that.
I wanted to make a comment about the other Pride band that launched the
actual
just
rainbow
normal
one?
rainbow.
Yeah.
They're not. I was curious what you guys thought about this. They're not perfectly straight.
That bugs me.
Is
so
that intentional?
Bad. It is intentional. On the website, they say hand-cut
No, I meant
elastomer
towards the Pride
strips
thing.
are
They're not
pressed
they're not
together
straight.
to create a seamless band that is just.
I'll read it for you.
Thank you. Please do.
It's assembled by hand from individual strips of colored
Elastomer.
fluoroelastomer.
For floss. Just call it floss. It's just floss.
Flostomer. The strips are then machine die cut and compression molded together. This process results in subtle variations in the wavy rainbow design. I think this is because they had a crappy machine and they're now trying to pass it off as unique. They had poor quality control.
Better yet,
and they're like, yeah,
they're
that's
taking all
what
the
it's supposed to
reject
look
bands, slicing them into thin strips, and gluing them together and calling that a product.
No, they're doing it because they don't want it to be straight.
That was my whole joke I made earlier. Did that go over your head? Oh,
It did.
okay.
I didn't get it.
Whatever.
I wasn't thinking
I didn't
on
hear
that
you.
level of memery. I'm
It's
sorry.
only funny when I do it, Drew.
Okay.
I'm gonna step away for a second just so I can go grab the packaging so I can show you guys what's going on with that.
Okay. Well, I think
Okay,
they may try
now
to
that we got
pass
rid of
that off
Randy,
as
Drew,
unique.
what are we really going to talk about on this show?
Oh yeah, we were going to talk about $500 Apple Glass and how
still
that might
hear
be
you.
more usable. Okay.
Randy says he can still hear us, but
He's
you
coming
guys
back.
can't hear him.
I can
so-
still hear you guys.
Okay. There.
Oh, he's got the package.
All right.
Let's see what it looks
Immediately
like.
looking at it, I'm looking at it and it's ticking me off. All right.
Oh,
Oh,
that's awful. That looks real bad.
This is exactly how it came. Well, unopened.
Did they try
obviously.
to like fold it in half while they were shipping it?
Okay.
oh,
Oh, that's
Oh.
awful.
Yeah.
ouch.
And so here,
You should sue them
That
for
ain't straight.
psychological distress.
I got PTSD again from this. One from the Marine Corps, one from this. And trust me, this one's worse.
This is way worse.
So here's when you open it. I'm trying to show it so that you both can see the audience and you guys, but that's here. Just go like that.
I mean,
Better.
what's Apple gonna do with it if you return it?
I
They're just
don't
gonna
know.
throw it out.
No, they're going to cut it into strips, and then in next year's ban, it'll be
So yeah, this is very literally how it came to me. I swear to God, like this is the worst.
It's cool that the external packaging is black, though. I like that.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. So I'm just showing the audience. All right, so here you go, guys. So that's what it looks like, and that's why I wanted
real
it to
bad.
go. I wanted it to go over here because it looks. Now, even the back has a crease. Like
jeez.
it's so bad.
It literally looks like they were trying to stuff it in another box, and they were like, "Oh, it doesn't fit."
This
So they
looks
just,
like Nick's
you know-
iPad.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not that
you decided
bad.
if you're
It's-
gonna
it's
sell it
only
or not?
Mostly bent. It's not terrible.
Mostly.
All right, guys. Before just so I can put this subject to rest, I'll show you guys first. This is
Okay.
the actual watch band. I don't know if it'll actually come. I might actually have to take photos and send to you, but this.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it doesn't actually go all the way up. It won't
down.
latch. So audience, there you go, guys.
Wow.
That's just
That's
it's
bad.
It's bad. So anyway,
They should not take pride in that.
Oh, I got that one. I got that one. Didn't
Thank
take
you.
3
I'm
minutes.
gonna make that joke in 30 seconds. It's gonna be funnier.
Nick, have you decided if you're selling your iPad or not, or are you still undecided?
I'm still undecided.
Okay.
Basically, you guys said don't sell it, and I was kind of already thinking don't sell it. But then I'm looking at these rumors for a new iPad Mini, and I'm like, oh, I want this iPad.
Have we talked
Mini.
about that?
We
Not in depth, I don't believe. What
We
was
did,
it,
because you
8 point
said-
something inch. Well, he mentioned it in passing, but we didn't.
No. We
speculate
did it
enough
on,
about it.
We did it on the air because you said it was this would be almost the look normal size to Nick's hand, and I laughed because like I'll never get that feeling.
Yeah.
And I did say, I think after
you-
the show on Twitter, that if that iPad Mini comes out, I will definitely buy it with the LTE version, and just like for a week, see if I can replace my phone with it. Obviously, everyone on Twitter
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, you can't pair an Apple Watch to an iPad." And I'm like, I'm not getting rid of my iPhone, guys. Like,
Just tell them,
People on
idiots, iPhone stays in a desk.
exactly,
The Apple Watch connected to it via cellular, so
exactly.
problem solved.
And it's not like I ever leave my desk anyway, so I'm just always going to
Or
be
your
here.
house.
Or my house.
Yeah.
But
The biggest loss would be cameras, I think.
fair.
Yeah. Ew.
iPad Mini camera is not known for being fantastic, but
That's
maybe
very
if they're revamping
MacBook Pro of them.
it. The selfie camera wouldn't be that bad, but the rear facing would be the biggest
it have
loss.
Face
Although it would have omnidirectional, so it would be better Face ID than the iPhone actually.
but nice.
And it would also, therefore, have a better front-facing camera, too, because of Face ID.
Not better than the iPhone.
No. Better than the iPad Mini right now.
Yeah. Yes. Probably. Because I don't think it's very good right now. But it's been over a year since they've refreshed the iPad Mini, and it has never gotten a design change. So I'm really
That's
hoping
true.
that these rumors end up being true, because if they could unify the lineup a little bit with that iPad Pro design scheme, It would be so consistent. It would be so dang fluid. Everything would just blur together so well. Although it would probably make it harder to sell people on the iPad Pros, which is why they would likely make the Pro software exclusive to the iPad Pros.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. Nice
We'll
transition.
see.
But I'm not done talking about the iPad Mini because you started talking about one of my favorite Apple
Stop
devices.
ruining transitions.
Go
My
ahead.
job. I think that's in the lower third of this newscast. Nikki and Sweeney, ruiner of transitions. The iPad Mini is like the perfect size for me. Like I can easily palm it, and like it's so compact and small, and it just fits so perfectly. So when they redesign it, I hope they don't change the external size. I hope they just get rid of the bezels and make that screen as big as possible because it's a beautiful
You should
design.
trade in your bent iPad and use the in-store credit on a Mini. That's
I like
my
this.
pitch to you.
I like this. How
They'll
how
get it in
confirmed
space
is this
gray.
iPad Mini? Is this kind of like
Not super.
not super?
I mean,
and what is
As
the
just
timeline?
confirmed
is-
as the later 2020 iPad Pro, maybe.
Coming in 2020.
Ming Chi
never-
Kuo is pretty accurate, but he also gets timelines wrong a lot, so it could be further away or something like that. But
Okay.
when I combine logic with
Final Cut.
Quo reports and leaks. Yeah. No, not Final Cut. I just like when I hear a report and it sounds believable, that makes me think it's going to happen. When I hear a report and it doesn't sound believable, that's when I doubt it.
Okay.
But I'm wrong a lot, so I
You
could
don't,
be
you
wrong
don't have
on this one.
five
I just
toilet papers, Drew. We need to fix that.
no, I don't. I want to believe this one though, because this sounds awesome.
I think if the iPod Mini comes out as a whole, just
iPod Mini.
He said iPod Mini.
I said iPad.
I
you
heard
didn't.
iPod Mini.
No, that's my accent coming through.
Oh, sure.
Wake up, Red.
Your accent.
My
We're recording.
accent, that iPod.
Oh, here's a
iPod
question.
Pro.
How would they handle the Apple Pencil on the iPad Mini refresh?
They wouldn't.
No, it would have to. It would have to have something.
Would
It'd
it
be
would
the
it,
Gen
would it be
1.
Apple Pen? I would make the case it would still be Apple Pencil 1, and they'd still have a lightning port on it.
No.
Yes.
No. Not okay.
Wow,
It just
wow.
did that to trigger you, Drew.
Wow, wow.
Whole reason they have the squared off design is so that you can. What they'll need is an Apple Golf Pencil, and it's just like the Gen 2 except shorter. So just take this and shrink it down.
I
And
love
then you
it.
can dock
I
that on the
love
side,
it.
same connector.
But then you get what? Bad battery? No, because this size would still
Whose
fit
battery
the-
life is running out
I've
on this
never
thing?
once run out of battery life on, even
I
after
can't
using
find
it
a single
for hours.
person that's like, well, I was using my pencil because it's not docked to the iPad.
Bull.
Yeah, not because you were using it.
I was using it. Yeah.
Bull.
No.
Bull back to
I'll,
you,
t-
Randy.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you exactly what
What
happened.
were you using it for?
Now, hang on. I have to preface by saying it wasn't this version. It was the Gen 1.
Oh, well,
Aha.
duh. Yeah, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the magnetic one that just like
I'm
it's
talking
always
about
magnetic
Apple
one.
Pencil dying.
A magnetic one is at 100% all the time because everyone leaves it attached.
exactly.
I don't.
The
Not
lowest
my
I actually
undocked.
ever remember getting my.
I don't leave it attached either, but I haven't
Well, there
attached
you
this
go.
to my iPad in
2/3
forever.
of the
Let's
podcast
check.
doesn't do it. We are not everybody.
It's still at 58%,
What
and I
the-
haven't docked it to the iPad in days.
Mine is at 83.
Mine's at 100% still.
These don't die. Come on,
Okay.
they can take a smaller battery. It's fine.
No, that's bad because
Especially if it's on the
continuity.
Mini.
Continuity. You want to have the same length for it. That way, it's just one product to sell.
No, but then the pencil would take up like the entire length of the
No, it wouldn't.
iPad.
No, it wouldn't. No, no. This is not the size of an iPad Mini. I've held many of those
Let
suckers
me-
in my day.
I will send you
Okay.
a photo of a side-by-side with
Please.
the Apple Pencil 1.
I'm talking about Apple
you can
Pencil
see how-
2.
Well, they're basically the same length.
Rad.
They're not far off.
Rad.
Look at it would cover the entire thing. Look at that photo.
Fine, Drew. I'll look at the photo just for you. Yeah.
Everyone else can follow along
It would
by
co-
going on the iPad Mini.
No,
No,
I'll
at-
put it
at-
up on the screen,
yeah, he'll
guys.
put it in post.
This is a video podcast now. I am capable of adding things in post
I
processing.
just didn't want to assume you would do that. So
Well,
there you go.
there's a good
you
chance
don't
I'll
have
forget
to.
No,
about
put
it.
him
so
to work.
tweet me.
Put him to work. He needs something to do.
do nothing here, Randy. I do everything.
Maybe they'll make
Gosh.
a Gen 1
I
pencil
do
that's
nothing,
USB-C.
Nick. Oh, all right. Good, Nick. Good. We'll see how
do
this
nothing but
episode
make my
turns
audio
out.
sound-
When I do nothing.
You do
Watch
nothing but
out,
make my audio sound terrible, Randy.
Wow.
Stop
Only
hating
yours.
each other.
Only
Between
yours.
all of you, I by far do the least.
I'm sorry, Drew. It's just I've been
Pointless
cooped up
argument.
for so long.
Who
Right.
gets advertisers on this show, Randy? Like this amazing
All I
ad that
do
we're about to
is-
have from Hacked.
Oh, hello there. Sorry, I didn't see you there. I was just working on my latest project. It's a small simulation of the entire world, and so far it's going pretty well. I'm really thankful that you took the red pill, because if you didn't, I wouldn't be able to talk to you right now. This is the real world. What you were just watching was only a simulation. Now, Morpheus told me that I should take this time to tell you about a brand new podcast called The Waveform Podcast by Marcus Brownlee. But unfortunately, I believe that podcast is a little bit too mainstream for this show. So we're going to go with something a little bit more intriguing. It's called Hacked, the coolest podcast that I have in my subscription library that I listen to very amazingly. It's a fantastic podcast that talks all about how technology that has been moving towards the mainstream and out of the hacking realms affects your daily life. If you've ever been curious how internet ads play a role in how malicious advertising works, and something that's called malvertising by the In Club, you should definitely listen to Jordan and Scott's podcast. It's the latest episode on Hacked. It's linked in the description below. I really hope you appreciate, enjoy it. If you haven't listened to it, you have to. It's stupid if you don't. Now I'm going to send you back to the Matrix right now. Thank you.
All you do is. What do you do, Drew? You upload your Twitch? No, you do stuff, just not on this particular segment, but you do stuff.
I am ready to record on time. That's what I do.
And that's the most important part.
That's more than either Randy or I could ever say. We're always scrambling.
If
for the
I
last
wasn't
10
on
minutes.
time, this thing would never get done.
Listen, again, let the record show, ladies and gentlemen watching, the reason why this is happening right now, we're recording on a Friday because I'm not available tomorrow. So, yeah.
This is all on you.
This is all on
It
me.
all comes back to you.
We have to get
No,
ready for the
seriously, though.
openings and stuff, man. Man, I can't, but San Diego's weird. Oh, my goodness. That's a whole other... San Diego's weird. Anyway.
Different
so,
podcast, different
podcast.
subject.
Different subject.
We
What
don't have
about
a
an
podcast
Apple
for that.
Pencil?
We have a YouTube
What about an
channel.
Apple Pencil one with
Tailosive News,
USB-C?
available on Tailosive main channel.
No. Stop
Ba,
plugging.
ba, ba, da, ba.
What about an Apple Pencil one with USB-C? No!
No.
That would be better than Apple Pencil 1, which is what they currently ship.
No, I don't think. I don't
No.
think. I think it's gonna be this one. Honestly, I don't think it's gonna be Gen 1. I think it's gonna have the box designs and it's gonna dock. so
How would
that
you
way-
hold it with one hand?
Yeah, but it can still be boxy. You used to hold
It'll
iPhone
be
5 with one
boxy,
hand.
but if the pencil's on the entire opposite end, it's going to fall off every time you're trying to hold it with one hand. There's no grip to it.
So we
That's
have
true.
we have three options here. The first option is standard first gen Apple Pencil with a Lightning port, and the iPad Mini has a Lightning port, even though it's squared off. I think we can agree
Gross.
that's not a very good option, but it's cheap,
Yeah.
so I can see
Yeah.
that happening. I wouldn't be surprised. The other option is a full-size second-gen Apple Pencil magnetically attached to the entire side of the iPad Mini. That would make it
Uncomfortable,
a little uncomfortable to hold, and the iPad Mini is all about
unergonomic.
pocketability and ergonomics. And I don't really think they do that. I do like the idea of a golf pencil Apple Pencil at the top on the narrow side of the iPad, so it would go.
That's where
here.
the speakers are.
Not on the Mini. Maybe they're just speakers on the bottom.
we need you to be more open-minded, Drew. This is
There
gonna
would be
have
Face
new
ID
design.
sensors up there. Doesn't work.
Drew, stop being so. Maybe they'll move the Face ID sensors to the side now.
I'm not being closed-minded. I'm just saying I've decided on the best solution, and you're wrong because an Apple Golf Pencil is the correct way to do
He's
this.
not being closed-minded, says the guy who didn't buy the Pride watch band.
You're very prideful about
I'll
that.
be honest with
Randy.
you. Do you think? Hold on. No, I don't think it's gonna get USB-C. This actually makes sense. I think it's gonna stay.
No.
I think
I
it's
know,
gonna stay
but
Lightning.
no, but
That's
you're
not
right.
ideal,
You're
but it's
right
cheap.
because they're not gonna re-engineer the whole thing for an iPad Mini. It's not their primary iPad to sell. Oh my God, it's gonna be the exact. It's gonna have Lightning. It's gonna have everything the exact same. and it's gonna have.
No.
Yeah,
Dude,
But
you're talking
right.
about a $350, $400 iPad. You're not going to be
They will
expecting
not.
much from it.
They will not
No,
build
this
a
is
whole new.
$400 now. They could make
$400
it
now?
more expensive if
Okay.
it had a
But-
mini LED display.
I don't want a
They
mini
will
LED
not
display.
re-engineer.
That's what the leaks are saying.
Who cares what the leaks are saying?
They're not going to re-engineer the thing
That's
to
why this
accommodate.
is a subject.
Are you okay, Drew?
Yes.
Okay.
They're not going to.
You're okay.
He's talking very Jerry Seinfeld. Yes, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
USB-C, or you could do Apple Pencil 1 with USB-C.
I
No.
don't think so.
How is
I
that?
thi-
How is that worse than your solution of Lightning?
It's not. It's just they're not going to re-engineer something just to accommodate an accessory. That makes the most sense. I'm using your
They've
logic.
done it before.
What's that?
Oh, they updated the iPad 3 6 months after it came out with Lightning, just so it was consistent.
An accessory. No, that was fundamental on keeping everything uniform across the line going forward with charging. That's not an accessory. That's a necessity. You need to charge, and they were pushing Lightning
What would be an example of them not doing this?
of not changing. I would say currently, and it's not. I'm not in favor of it, but the MacBooks using Touch ID over Face ID.
No,
That's
that's
fair.
because the sensors don't fit. It's not.
Exactly.
Make those
That's
sensors
exactly
fit.
my point. They're not going to re-engineer the MacBook right now to
USB-C
accommodate that.
works with the iPads, though. They've done that. It's not
Drew,
like they have
we're
Face
talking-
ID on
I'm
the
talking
iMac,
about
but not
costs.
the MacBook.
I'm only talking about cost. They want to keep it at that $400 price point, $399.
It's not that different price. There's $300 Androids with USB-C. It's not that expensive.
No, but I'm talking
Android?
about
I'm sorry, that sounds broke to me. I don't care about
know,
Android.
especially if
Pro.
the iPad.
It's the
next
difference between
iPad
Pro
Air
and
4.
consumer. They're selling an iPad Air 4th
Time
gen or
out.
5th
Nick,
gen or whatever
are
it is.
you agreeing with me?
I am. This is
Oh my
rare.
God.
We're teaming up on Drew today. This is
I'm
I'll
all
take you
hot and
both.
bothered.
welcome
I'll
to
be the King Kong
unprecedented
taking
times,
the
folks.
T-Rex.
I just don't feel like they're gonna do for if Lightning is a dying port. I don't disagree. However,
Lightning is for the iPhone. Apple
No.
Pencil's not
that's
on
not
the
true.
Lightning is
it's
for
also
things
for
that are not
mouse.
pro.
They didn't change it for mouse or keyboard support either. There's another example.
They should though. They should
I
though.
completely agree, but they didn't, and they won't do it for the iPad Mini.
USB-C makes sense on the iPad line if they're bringing it to the Air, and it's already on the Pro. Why not the Mini?
The same reason why we still got iPods. I don't know.
There's
If they're
different-
redesigning it though, I'm saying keeping Lightning on the current iPad Mini is fine, but if we're redesigning it, new display, first time it's ever had a design shift, no home button, Face ID this time, why not give it the full iPad Pro
Randy,
treatment?
I'm going to sound like
Cost.
Drew now. I'm going to say I would love for it to be USB-C, but I'm going to be expecting Lightning. That way, when it is Lightning, I won't be disappointed. But if it's USB-C, I'll be extra excited. So take that, Nick. I mean, Drew.
You'll be wrong.
I feel like as long as there's a Gen 1 Apple Pencil, when it comes to budget, that takes priority over Gen 2.
That pencil is 5 years old.
I agree.
Exactly.
I'm not refuting it.
It needs a revamp.
I don't
No, it doesn't. It
disagree,
works great.
but it still
Just don't lose
exists
the
to
cap.
the most current models of iPads.
And it's still $100. And they haven't changed
What if
the
they
price.
dropped the price down to $79 on the OG
and
Apple
added
Pencil?
USB-C? Yeah, that'd
No,
be great.
no. Drew, get USB-C out of your head, Drew. Lightning. All lightning.
I don't see the point in doing the bezel-less treatment and adopting Face ID and the squared off edges if you're not going to add USB-C. That was like the whole redesign aspect. of it.
Well,
It's
I
You really
compatibility.
want USB-C.
I genuinely
Compatibility was the whole point. Like there was nothing.
This
USB-C
hasn't
could
happened
do that
yet. You're,
Lightning
you're talking
couldn't.
about it like it happened in the past, and in past tense, it hasn't happened
Because
yet.
the best iPads are the iPad Pros, and they've adopted USB-C. Apple acknowledges this. They agree.
Pro
For the
level
iPad, it
things
makes more
get
sense.
pro level
USB-C for
accessories.
pro. Yes.
Consumers get consumer things.
Yes.
The port does nothing Lightning can't do.
The what?
USB-C does everything Lightning can,
Yes.
except compatibility. So if you're updating the iPad design, completely new form factor, new display, new design language, update the port.
Drew,
consistent.
in an ideal world where Apple is not out to make a boatload of money, yes, sure, throw that on there. But they're trying to push people towards the more expensive devices, so they need to make the cheaper ones bad enough
This
to
will
make
be more
techies
expensive.
like us. I'm sticking to the $399 price point, maybe $450, but $399 is good. Yeah, I'm giving myself no more than
I'm
$450.
sticking to this unless it's this.
Sometimes I start a sentence and I don't know where it's going, and I just hope that I find it along
I
the
just
way.
mean they didn't keep the MacBook Air with USB-A ports. Okay, they inevitably switched it over
2010
to USB-C.
to 2018
until they
years.
redesigned it. Nick, what does it have now?
USB-C, but it's not Thunderbolt 3, which is a differentiation between the pro level and the consumer level.
The iPad doesn't. Thunderbolt 3 has nothing to do with it. It's
No,
just
it
the
does.
compatibility
Drew, this
port.
has everything to do with it. Thunderbolt 3 is the pro level on the MacBook Pros, has all of the
I
power.
could use your same argument as to why the MacBook Air should keep USB-A and MagSafe. It's because it's the cheaper one, and it has to be different from the Pro, right?
I would agree.
But they
That's
didn't
why
do
they
that.
kept it for so long.
No, but
But they
Lightning
didn't.
makes sense if you're going to have the Gen 1 Apple Pencil be. I think there will be a differentiating between pros and regular consumer, as Nick was saying, pro and consumer. I think I'm on the stance that they're keeping Gen 1 Apple Pencil, and as long as that is there, there's no, they won't put USB-C on it, and there has to be that differentiation to make you upgrade the same way storage configuration sometimes.
Pro
and
apps,
stuff
ProMotion,
I don't
LiDAR,
think-
dual
I
camera.
don't
That's
think
going to
the
help,
iPad Mini
but
will-
that's not going to replace the Apple Pencil 2. The Apple Pencil 2 is legitimately the best stylus that I've ever used because
Stylus?
it's just so clicky and you can like tap it and it just clicks
Yeah, there's
right
no
on the iPad.
disagreement that this is the best, but it doesn't make sense on a tablet that small. By the way, Nick, you're wrong. The MacBook Air has 2 Thunderbolt 3
Oh, it does.
ports.
Okay. Well,
Well then.
It's been decided.
Oh,
See if
that's
I
it.
ever
I'm convinced,
come on this
Drew.
show
All
again.
of a sudden, I'm sold. USB-C's on the way.
Point being, they don't mind the Pro model and the Lite model that's cheaper having the same full-size port.
I don't know if my iPad Mini is considered a big enough R&D, I guess is what I would word it, to...
This doesn't require R&D. It's a
No,
part.
no.
You swap it out.
Like, when you look at how much the iPad Mini sells in comparison to everything else, again, okay, let's remember who's at the helm here, okay? The master of moving inventory. As long as you got an Apple Pencil 1, you will do everything you can to get rid of that. I will believe USB-C, all things iPad, the moment Gen 1 Apple Pencil is no longer being sold at that point. I'll believe it then. They have to do everything they can to phase it out.
Yeah.
We might get a type of phasing that happens, but there's no way
The budget iPad will still be around. That's their top seller. They'll keep it around for
Budget
that, but I
iPad-
don't think the Mini has to. If the Mini and the Air came together, they're a couple. The Air 3 and the Mini 5 were dropped at the same time with the same CPU, same cameras, same screen to body
in
ratio.
2013 with the original iPad Air 1 and the iPad Mini 2, that is true. They were exactly the same. But after that, the Mini just got left for years. The Air got the Air 2 update, and the Mini 3 didn't get any of the improvements that the Air 2 got, except it got...
That's what the rumors are suggesting. Air 4 later this year, Mini 6 next year. So it would be the same kind of rollout.
Even then, the Mini still sucks in comparison. I think this year, I guess, with the A12 chip is kind of when the Mini and the Air kind of got back on the same page. But for legitimately 3 or 4 years, the Mini has always been the worst device. The Mini 4 has an A8 chip.
It has the highest pixel density of any iPad, for one.
Yeah.
For two, the iPad Mini is the cheapest way to get a laminated display in an A12 chip to this day.
Yes. But
You're also ignoring the fact that the Mini would not get a smart connector. So if you wanted to push people towards the Pros or the Air, they could have keyboard cases on those devices.
Absolutely,
but
it's
not
never
a keyboard case on the
gonna
Mini.
have a smart connector. Smart connector is 100% gonna be for the larger
There's your
devices.
differentiation. There you go. Pros have
the
the connector.
it is.
smart connector. smart connectors for larger devices, not for more expensive devices, because the Air 4 has the smart connector. That's for things that can attach to a keyboard. The Mini is so small, it doesn't really work with a keyboard.
That's my point. They don't need Lightning to differentiate it from the Pro. They won't have a keyboard support, so it's a different market. They've got a differentiating factor.
I love that
They'll
two
still
good
have
friends
USB-C.
can bicker about technology and the ports that the holes that will be on a future device, possibly for 40 minutes, and still be friends at the end of the day.
This is my logic.
I hate you personally,
This
Drew.
is how my brain works. Well, don't you agree though? Wouldn't the keyboard be enough of a
no
selling
I don't think
point
so.
to go with a Air 4 instead of a Mini? You think that
when,
it will
when you're buying a
sales
Mini,
to add USB-C?
you're not really looking at the price. The smaller price is a factor, but when you're looking between the Mini and the whole Air, you're more worried about the screen size. I think that it's the screen size that sells people on the larger one.
That's my point.
Well, yeah, and the screen size.
It has nothing to do with ports.
But I'm still saying the Air is going to also keep Lightning, even though it's going to get its redesign.
Oh,
like
that would take more work.
Well, they'll redesign it, but they'll keep them Lightning. Everything's on the budget side still going to be Lightning.
That would require more changing to manufacturing and assembly lines because the
but
Air
you get
has
to
been
keep the Air the little port inside of it. You can swap that part out. It's just the casing.
No, they're
change.
changing it. No, they're changing. They're just recycling the iPad Pro from 2018's design. So, adding Lightning to that would
It's
be
going to
more
be an
work,
11-inch.
opposed to
Wait.
just keeping it.
Wait.
Yeah.
But what?
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 The rumors, have we not talked about this?
No.
The iPad Air 4 is basically a revamped 2018 iPad Pro, just with dumbed down specs.
Wait,
What
That's all
the?
What?
They've made several videos on this subject.
Oh, I don't watch your videos.
Come
Drew.
on. Why wouldn't it be? That's exactly what is the iPad Air? It's a dumbed down version of the 2017 iPad Pro. That's all it is.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what they're going to do with the iPad Air 4 is a dumbed down 2018 iPad Pro. It'll have USB-C. It'll have the smart connector. It'll have
I was
Face
always
ID.
under the impression the iPad Air was going to get that 10.5 inch layout with the smaller side bezels. And
It might. They might shrink it a little bit, but
that I did not think it was going to get the 2018 Pro.
I think it already
layout.
has the 10.5-inch one, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like
the
I thought it was
iPad
gonna,
Air is
yes,
yeah.
and it's going to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think. I still don't think. I guess as of right now that it's going to get the Pro treatment because then it's possible you're going to cannibalize the current Pro.
Exactly.
That's why it's not out yet. And that's why it won't have stereo speakers, 120 hertz, dual camera or LiDAR, and it probably won't even be capable of running the Pro apps. They're going to be a Pro
man.
exclusive.
Well, making
That's my theory.
the Air for a 2018 iPad does change the whole logic because I was thinking that the Air 4 would remain 10.5 inches or whatever, and they just shrink the
What would they do with that, though?
bezels down.
What would they add with the Air
I don't know.
4?
Every year they seem like they're changing the screen size. I didn't really.
Honestly, I thought they were going to kind of clean up the iPad lineup a bit and make it more like here's your budget iPad, just iPad Mini, iPad Pro, the bigger and the smaller one, and then just have those 4 configurations. That's it. So here's your budget iPad, iPad Mini, iPad Pro 12.9, 11.5.
11.5. What are you talking?
Wait, isn't it? I don't know what the small one is.
11 inch.
Yeah, the 11-inch.
Oh, whatever.
I get it, but I'm saying, based on what they did in the past, all they did for the Air was rebrand
past
the old
die,
Pro.
Kill it if you must.
There's nothing really they can do with the design of the current iPad Air. What could they do? Update the CPU?
No,
die?
I was imagining they'd basically redesign the Air from the ground up around a 10.2 inch canvas, but it does make more sense that they would just take the 11s that they have sitting around. But at the same time, though, that
Exactly.
they have to make a way to make it obvious from walking down the street or sitting on a bus or something. You have to make it obvious between the Pro and the old Pro and the Air. So
It's the Magic Keyboard.
And no. I'm thinking something with a camera because Apple loves changing the cameras to make them look more exclusive.
Because you don't watch my videos, let me recap for you
what
the Air 4 what the Air 4 would have. There wouldn't be stereo speakers.
Okay.
It would have a 1080p rear-facing camera.
So would there still
no
be
LiDAR,
speaker
no
holes
dual cam.
for the top, or how would that work?
No, they'd just get rid of those. It'd be a
Okay,
slight
so
design
you
change,
are
but it
talking
wouldn't be
about
hard.
redesigning the hardware from an 11-inch.
Well, the iPad Air is slightly redesigned from the 2017 iPad Pro, but the basics of it are still there.
Okay.
The fundamental platform hasn't changed much, but they did get rid of 120 hertz. They did swap out the CPU to an A12 instead of an A10X, and the camera is worse. So the iPad Pro from 2017, that is a camera bump. iPad Air does not have a camera bump. So there's little things like that they can take out that save money. Whereas I think that if it doesn't have... It'll still have Face ID, but it won't have 120 hertz. It'll still be locked at 60 hertz. The speakers won't sound as great. Maybe it'll work with the Magic Keyboard case, just so that they can say you can have the iPad 2-in-1 experience for under $1,000 now. But maybe it starts under 128 gigs. It doesn't have 6 gigs of RAM, and Apple would probably even keep the A12 chip in there, and that would be their reasoning as to why it can't run Final Cut Logic or Xcode. So that'll be a pro feature. Because they've kind of backed themselves into a corner already with the 2020 iPad Pros being so great and yet so drastically different from the rest of the iPad lineup, to the point that that's why they're selling the iPad Pros now, and they haven't released the Air 4 yet. They kind of want people to be comfortable with the new iPad Pros being out, and they're like, okay, that's the way you get the good display, and that's the way you get Face ID. Once they've kind of run their course, and they've been out for a long time, that's why I'm guessing the Air 4 would come out like in October of this year. That's when they launched the cheaper model, and it's like, okay, it doesn't do all the great Pro stuff, but yes, you can technically now get the bezel-less treatment on a cheaper iPad. And that's just from rebranding the 2018 iPad, and what I'm noticing is basically everybody's opting for the 2018 iPads these days anyway via certified refurbished and third-party places like eBay or Amazon. They're just going for the cheaper iPad Pro anyway, because a lot of people don't think the 2020 iPad is worth it. So Apple has to find a way to price a new iPad.
Talking about.
Yo, 2018 was the year for Apple. Series 4, iPad
It was too
Pro.
good.
It was
too good.
Oh my god, we bought at the right time. That was the year.
For the iPhone, it was 2017, and then for everything else, for the iPad and the Apple Watch, it was 2018. That's where they nailed it, and then didn't know how to top it, and they're having a hard time topping it now.
No, man, 2018 was the year. Well, to be fair, 2020 doesn't exist in my mind, so we're only a year behind.
We still haven't started the year yet. We're just
iPhone 12, I think, is going to be.
It's
peak
still
iPhone
December
for a while.
2019 in my heart. Because I refuse to accept this.
Apple's going to have a real hard time topping iPhone 12 in following years. So it's going to be another design
That's
refresh.
okay, because they're moving towards services anyway as their primary.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm glad they are not going out of their way to compromise their hardware just so that way they can have a refresh cycle of sorts. Like it's like they acknowledge, yes, we have great phones, we have great products, we have all these things, but we also have great services, and they're putting so much into that they acknowledge that we have the best iPad. Come at me, but don't at me, and there you go. And so now it's like, with the services to include software support. Now, yeah, man, they're gonna put Mac or Final Cut and Logic and everything else. This is such a cool problem to have. Like, they put themselves in a corner. It's such a good problem and a cool problem to have, because now it's like we're arguing, how do you make it better? Because we don't know. we're just like, we're so low on the food chain. And we're throwing poop at each other. We're not smart. We don't know these things. We are Neanderthals in comparison to these brainiacs up at the campus that are coming up with things that how are you gonna do AR glasses with LiDAR only and not have a camera? Like the iPad, when you guys were demoing your LiDAR stuff, it only worked because there's a camera that's projecting the stuff. How's that not going to translate with no.
Well, you don't need a camera because you'll just be looking through the lenses anyway.
But like it needs the. Yeah, I know our eyes.
Have you seen the
best
video
camera.
of someone covering up the cameras?
Yeah,
and not the
and it
LiDAR
still
sensor.
works.
Yeah.
It still gets the 3D depth data. That's basically, I think, how the glasses are going to work. They just need the depth. They don't need the visuals.
This makes me mad, and I know different podcasts and all that, but this is the same thing with the Tesla and the backing up sensors. Like, use the camera! Use the camera! Just use
Would
it,
you,
it's there.
What were you going to say, Nick?
So I just looked up the budget iPad. I'm still on this iPad kick. I can't figure it out. They did a 10.2-inch iPad, which is a brand new screen size, brand new chassis, brand new everything for their cheapest iPad.
Here, I'm gonna join you on this. Let's see.
Why would they do that when they're always just reusing parts from older Pro products? Like with the Air 4, because your logic seems sound with the Air 4 being a 2018 11-inch iPad Pro 3rd Gen.
Just
I
fix
think-
the watch band. Sorry, I'm looking at the Pride band. It's bugging me. Just fix it.
You can't even move off of that.
I can't. Like, look at that.
Sorry.
It's so.
Okay, so your logic is why are they doing? Okay, I'll tell you why.
Why didn't they just
'cause
use
it's a little bit of a-
9.7-inch? That's
It's because it's a trick. They are recycling a ton of the budget iPad's parts because it is the exact same form factor as the iPad Air, just with thicker bezels. The Smart Keyboard is compatible with the iPad Air 3rd Gen and the budget iPad.
Thank
So-
you. Okay.
They are reusing. The only thing they're changing is the display panel and the
display.
glass, but
Okay.
the chassis and the aluminum is all the same.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Apple, you tricked me. Good on you.
I thought I was confused by that too. I was like, why did they just make a 10.2-inch iPad that's slightly bigger?
Yeah.
And then once I looked at the Smart Keyboard compatibility, I was like, that's why. So they can only have to sell 3 keyboards now. It's the iPad Air and iPad keyboard, and then the iPad Pro Smart Keyboard, and then the Magic Keyboard. Those are the 3.
Then I'll say, yeah, if they're going to redesign the iPad mini, give it a full...
Yes!
It needs to have USB-C.
Yes!
Fine.
Okay.
But
Thank you,
this
Nick.
also means, Drew,
love you.
that... Aw, thank you. I love you, too.
Not that way.
Wait. No. This also
I'll
means...
send you guys my watch band.
Oh, thanks.
The fixed one, please.
Yes. I want the not straight one. This also
I
means
didn't
when
buy
they
that one.
update the 10.2-inch budget iPad, it needs to also get USB-C.
No.
And it needs to be a clean break with the budget Apple Pencil.
I disagree.
Okay. Well, you've probably thought about this more than I did, and I just came up with that, so
Okay.
never mind.
I agree it would be nice, but I don't think they will.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that was
Decided
a fun
on.
discussion. We finally came to agreement. I left my own
got
camp
to
that
the
Randy joined.
I'm
and
not
I joined
sold.
yours.
What? Don't you dismiss me?
Okay, he's
I
not
matter.
sold, but either way.
You matter? What?
I have to ask because of last week's podcast. Would you guys get Apple Glass if it was $500?
That's only partly exaggerating. I did inhale my water wrong.
He's like, it's the equivalent of like if it was for $500 and just spits out the water.
Yes.
Oh my
The
gosh.
company that sells $700
Someone else
wheels will
talk.
also make revolutionary augmented reality glasses for $500.
Hey, Marquez put it just right on that video talking about that stuff. Like they want to keep their luxurious branding and status, so they'll upsell things that they know won't, like the book and all that stuff. So when he put out that video, I thought about it, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So
I disagree, but whatever. Different subject.
different subject. I just like, you and I are not on the same frequency today. This is awesome. We're just vibing different. Because normally you and I agree on something and we have to fight Nick on it. It's like, nah. All right, cool. But anyway, what I will say is for $4.99.
It's good to have someone on my team today. Thank you, Drew.
For $4.99 plus prescription, because I will definitely need a prescription. Bleep yes.
Okay, so that's a yes from Randy. How about you, Nick?
What was the exact question? I was kind of choking there for a minute. Could you tell?
Would you get Apple Glass if it was $500?
I'll take 2.
I would
that's
get
what I said.
I would get the stainless steel version, the Hermes version, the edition version, if the base was at $500.
But I'm just comparing to last week when you said if it was $2,500 or $2,000, you wouldn't be able to buy and keep them.
I don't think it makes sense with $2,000, but $1,000 or $1,500 sounds real reasonable. For
I
so
pay
you could justify
500.
it.
I pay 500 just for my glasses now, and all they do is help me see.
that's all they do.
They don't show you things that aren't there. My
Yeah.
brain does that. You know what's cheaper than $500 glasses? Shrooms. No, I don't know how much. I'm joking. Don't do drugs, kids.
Just grab the shrooms in your yard. I'm sure that's it's a joke.
Don't
You'll
do that,
see all
people.
kinds of holograms.
Don't do drugs.
You'll get
Hey,
notifications.
what's going on?
Oh my gosh, this descended into
Isn't it
anarchy
funny though
quickly.
that a drug user and Apple Glass reactions would be somewhat similar? Someone just, whoa,
The glasses are freaking me out, man.
this is tripping me, dude.
literally tripping because you'll
Yeah.
be falling over the stairs that you can't see.
Did you?
So to answer your question,
ate
Drew,
the apple. Yeah.
$500 sounds amazing, but I don't think that's Apple. I don't buy that rumor at all.
I don't either.
I-
I want to believe it. I do.
Yeah, if it
I
happens,
want it to
I'm
be
not
true,
going to
but
complain.
I don't.
And whoever did that can be like, "Oh, it was right" or whatever, and whoever's believing it, whatever. I don't think $500. I'd say $1,000 is about the minimum I see them pricing these at, and I
Okay.
think anywhere between $1,000 and $1,500, maybe $2,000 depending on the functionality, is worth it. I think over $2,000, no matter what it does, first gen, not worth it. That's where I stand.
I think the oversimplification comes from people assuming, well, all of the iPhone will be doing the rendering and the processing,
Yeah.
so that means the glasses can be cheaper. I don't think that's the expensive part. If
Nope.
we look at any type of cheap knockoff AR glasses right now that are $600 or $800, that all they do is display the time and the weather. The processor is not what's making those glasses $800 to render the time and tell you the weather. Those are not the heavy-duty lifting. The expensive part of those glasses is the displays, and a lot of them are only displaying visuals on one eye.
Mm-hmm.
And if Apple Glass is doing both eyes, and they're hoping to scale production at an insane rate,
And have
I
a
was
LiDAR sensor on it?
suggesting, yeah, and have LiDAR. I was thinking $2,000 with iPhone doing all the work.
Yeah.
To be fair, let me be clear with our last podcast, we weren't assuming that they were going to be independent from the iPhone and be $2,000. We were assuming they would require the iPhone's work and help, and they would not work without the iPhone and still cost $2,000 because of what competitors
Let me
cost. My
add a
assumption
caveat
was
to that, Drew. Just like the
Go
Apple
ahead.
Watch original, OG Apple Watch, did technically work without the iPhone. It just didn't have connectivity. I think the glasses will work without the iPhone. They'll probably show you the time, and I can't
maybe
think
very
of
basic things.
anything else. But yeah,
Maybe.
basically just like watch face
Measuring stuff that can
Yeah.
be done from the LiDAR itself. And
Yeah,
display.
super
It's
basic.
impossible to have no processor. They need like AirPods
Exactly.
have
Yeah.
CPUs and like they
Right.
need something. It's just that the iPhone will be doing a lot of the work.
Yeah, all of the
That
AR
will
stuff.
help. I think the only thing that helps with is making them smaller. I don't think it helps at all with making them cheaper. Because they're still going to have to require processing of some kind on board because you can't do that completely remotely. It's not physically possible. So with that logic and knowing the market as it is now and how expensive transparent displays or projector displays are, I have no clue how they're going to be able to get the price that low. If they did, it would be a miracle, and I think I would have a new appreciation for Apple, and I think a lot of Apple critics would have a hard time complaining about Apple's not innovative anymore if that were the case. But just because I've watched so many product leaks, yeah, exactly, product leaks and rumors leading up to a release, there's very rarely been a time where the device that we've been hearing so much about, that had so much innovative tech and so much new technology, was substantially cheaper than we expected. That's never happened. I've wanted it to happen, but it never has. Whether it be
Apple Watch.
modular Mac Pro, new standalone monitor, Apple Watch, everyone before the Apple Watch, or wireless earbuds from Apple, people were saying, like, if they just made the earpods wireless and they were $100, and then they were $170, and then it was like, Apple Watch could do some iPhone things on your wrist. It can't be more than $200, though. Comes out $350, and then it gets even more expensive as time goes on.
Just a little.
You know, especially in more recent years of Apple, it always ends up costing a bit more than what people expect or were hoping for. And especially when it comes to new technology that doesn't even have a mature market yet. That's where my doubt sets in, as much as I want it to be true. What do you think, Randy?
Oh, he's quiet.
He's thinking on this one.
I am. We had to remember. I'll wait till you're done with the song. We had to remember. Okay, we have to take. There's a bias that's happening for me, and we have to take faces and sources out of the equation and look at the information that was presented. If I just look at the information presented, I have a hard time buying $500 starting for it, given that I agree that the processing is not the most expensive part, that it is the actual tech itself that's going to be happening.
Transparent screens aren't cheap.
No. I have a hard time, unless it's like, I think what I'm trying to play devil advocate with myself. It's like, well, who's going to manufacture the glass? Who's making who's doing these things where they can?
No one's doing it right now. We can believe that. No one's making transparent displays at this scale.
Right.
So that's why I don't think, because they probably don't have a supplier chosen, they don't know what the price is going to be yet.
Yeah.
And I feel like these price points are blueprint price points. Like, starting at, if you just want to buy the chip or the sensor or something. Like, it's hard to get. I guess where I'm struggling is it's hard. How can you come up with a price right now when it's clearly not been fleshed out yet, even to the point where evidently there's video or there's photos of these things that we haven't seen yet, but they are there. And the final design, in my opinion, then that's telling me it hasn't been established. And by design, I'm not just talking like aesthetics. I'm talking about like actual components and compartments of it. And I believe the software is there. I do believe, and I think that's what they were showing with LiDAR and with the phone. I don't think the software is the issue, or the projecting of the software. I think it's the execution of hardware that is the holdup right now, and
the fashion.
That's
pretty much what it comes down to. The way it looks, that's the biggest holdup. I don't think there's issues, as we've seen with Nick's demos on LiDAR and stuff, with the motion tracking and masking and stuff, and how well, like, all of the applications of the 3D holograms and adding displays to things, all that is possible, but doing it in a way that looks good, that's the biggest holdup.
How can you make this thing look like Tesla and make people want to jump on board? How do you make people who do not wear sunglasses or any other types of glasses that don't need a prescription and make them want to wear it the same way you guys wanted to wear watches after a smartwatch was introduced? Like, I would, the part of my bias is that I would buy them just because I wear glasses anyway, and I don't wear contacts. I don't like contacts, so I wear glasses regardless. just like I wore a watch before Apple Watch. So for me, like it's up my alley, and I know that what I'm willing to pay for it. And $500 for everything that you get right now, I'm comparing it to the Apple Watch in the sense that I paid $150 to $200 for good watches, good stainless steel watches in the past. Okay, $350. Okay, there's a little bit of a bump, but hey, all this extra stuff you get with it, cool. And I held on to that thing for years. Same concept. I pay $300 up to $400 for a really good pair of frames. Not even the glasses themselves, not the lenses, just the frames, because the frames are important for me. So just buying the frames, and then I had to get the special customizations for, do I want reflecting lights? Do I want the tint? Do I want this? Do I want anti-blue? All that stuff, right? So it adds up very quickly. I'm walking out of like a Lens Crafters, $600 in the hole, and I'm like, yep, that's the price of doing business. For what I need to do, because it's almost a necessity for me. It's misleading when I'm doing stuff like this. I don't need my glasses, but when I'm outside, I can't function without them. So it's a necessity for me to give me that and then some, starting at $500, then getting the lenses. I don't know. I want to believe it, obviously, but I'm not buying it. I don't think so. It's not like an Apple Watch where it's just an accessory. Now there's more components that's happening, and what we talked about 2 episodes ago, I think, or last episode, where what are the factors of, like, okay, you're driving and now you can't have data interfere with your eyes while you're on the road,
right?
And there's more caution and precautions that need to go into wearing these glasses for people who need to wear glasses 24/7 almost, So I just I don't know, man. I don't think I'm a believer just yet, and I don't want to just be optimistically. Oh boy, I just don't. I think it's too soon. It's too soon. Oh boy, oh boy. I thought about doing a Mickey Mouse, but I was just, yeah.
So there are kind of 2 ways they could go with this AR thing. I think at this point we really don't know what the AR is going to end up looking like on the software side, on the user interface side. Drew, just like you got that leak, alleged leak about the Mac Pro being modular with the little Mac Mini stack thing, I think Apple's working on a ton of things for AR glasses. I wouldn't be surprised if they had 5 to 10 separate projects that were all different from each other and did things differently, and just like they had the original iPhone that was based on a whole new design, and the old iPod that was updated to work with the phone, and they're always trying things, right? And I think that this leak that we've gotten is a project they're working on, but I don't know if that's really the end goal, because there is something about that.
Decided.
There is something about that $500 price point that's really grabbed the internet's attention. And I think Apple would be silly not to take note of that, because Apple is a premium brand. Argument can be made. SE, they're trying to get their market share bigger, but at the end of the day, they want themselves known as a premium brand. So $2,000 price tag does not surprise me. But just like the iPhone 11 and SE are very popular because they're cheap, but you still get into that ecosystem and you get most of the same functionality, I wouldn't be surprised if they had a dumbed down version of the glasses that were $500. Maybe it's just like Google Glass, in that you just have a little bit of
just a widget.
Yeah, just like kind of like a time or weather or notifications, instead of taking up your whole vision or most of your vision with those expensive displays. So I would imagine they have 2 projects like that working right now. One that's full AR based and one that's kind of Google Glass based, targeting different price points in different markets. And I don't know which one we'll get, or if we'll get both of them. But yeah, that.
So it's kind of like Apple Watch in the sense you have Sport, Apple Watch, and then Edition, and
that's a little different. What I'm talking about is the difference between a Fitbit and an Apple Watch. The dumbed down version would basically just do what a Fitbit did. The Fitbit could tell you the time, tell you your steps, and I don't know what
Heart rate, maybe?
Yeah, heart rate, just simple things. And that's kind of what this dumbed down $500 version, which I think could be popular in its own right. People will be like,
because of software, because sports, watch, and edition all had the same software. It was just
Exactly.
aesthetics.
That's just
That was
different.
just a finish thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
that
another
was just
question
the
I have for you
material.
guys. What do you think the casing options are going to be? Because glasses are one of the most personal things about you. People say, "Oh, watch is one of the most personal fashion accessories," but no.
Glasses
Your
tops
glasses
that.
are way higher. Yeah, glasses. And
You have to look at someone.
Exactly. And so I don't, just like the Apple Watch is like almost infinitely customizable on the bands. Like you can change your look dramatically just by switching out the band. They have different case options, so you can get different colors, and they have different size options, so it fits differently. I think.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure, I guess, how they'll make that level of customizability available on the glasses.
They won't.
They won't. So you're just going to be getting the black boxy nerd. There we go. We're going to get the nerd like.
I think
You can't be looking like you can't look like Willy Wonka if you're wearing Apple Glass, because they want this to be something consumers use and something people are comfortable and proud to wear. They have pride in it. The reason I have to, before we go into the finished topic, to kind of carry off what you were talking about with Apple occasionally going after cheaper demographics with the $300 iPad and the 400 SE, or the iPhone 11 getting cheaper than we expected and stuff like that. I think the reason I have a hard time believing they would approach the glasses market the same way is because it's so drastically different from everything else they already make. You know, the SE is so cheap because they've been making phones like that since 2014. You know, for 6 years now, they've had assembly lines making 4.7-inch iPhones with rounded edges and a home button, and they've tinkered it over the years, and iPhone 8 was in 2017, and that's most of what the SE is. So they're able to, economies of scale and tradition, get those prices low because they've been doing this for so long. Same with the budget iPad. They've been making that same base template iPad of home button, 10-inch display screen. They're like, okay, we can non-laminate it, make it $300, boom, and we've been doing this for years. You know, it wasn't until 2017 that they introduced the budget iPad. 7 years of iPad production before they were able to hit that price point. Entry-level stuff almost always exceeds the expected price or the rumored price. Just because, I mean, the iPad is a little bit of a exception because a lot of people were expecting that to be somewhere between $500 and $1,000, and it ended up being $500. But it did so much less than what people were thinking. So maybe that's what the glass is going to be. Like, the first iPad didn't have a camera of any kind, and it did not run OS X. In fact, it was more of a glorified iPhone, and a lot of people were expecting it to be more of a glorified Mac. But they went more iOS with it than they did Mac OS.
Can I interrupt your train of thought? Okay.
Almost there.
I'll come back to
the
that.
iPad technology is so similar to the iPhone technology because the displays and it's thin in the metal, and you can just kind of scale everything to what you've already been doing a little bit. And the glasses are just so much unlike anything they've already made, but they've never released a product with transparent displays. They've never released a product you wear on your face. They've never released a product that has to be so light and yet last so long, other than like AirPods, but these aren't anything like AirPods. They're not even going to have probably speakers in them, much less anything. So that's why I have a hard time believing that this would be another one of those SE or iPhone 11 or budget iPad type products. But go ahead.
So actually, I was going to make the comparison between people wanting the iPad to be more like a Mac and less like an iPhone. I think people right now want the Apple glasses to be more like the Apple Watch and less like the AirPods. I think it's going to fall. If they try to hit this $500 budget, it's going to fall closer to the AirPods. It's going to be something very lightweight and transparent that you're not going to notice. Like, with the reason why I have 2 pairs of AirPods right now is because I do love the transparency of the second gen AirPods. I'm going to drop it again. Every week I pick these things up and drop them. It just slips out of my hand. But the AirPods just sit in there, and they don't really block the noise out, and they read you text messages, and you can respond just by saying, tell them thanks or whatever, and Siri just does that. You can put in a video in the background. It's just very transparent and lightweight. And I would be surprised if they did do something more heavily like an Apple Watch that does, do the AR things that we want it to, I would imagine it would be kind of like an AirPods, but for your vision, as far as lightweight, kind of not in your face.
Hey.
I tried to make a joke.
But in your face at the same time. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Reasonable to assume.
So what about the finishes?
Oh, finishes? Yeah, I think they'll be customizable. I think it'll be like the Apple Watch.
Will that be
I think there will be
customizable, as in you can buy one of the 6 different options or 50 different options with color and variation?
I think there will be like 3.
During the day?
No. I mean for the frames themselves. I just mean like the frames will have like 3. There will be like the entry one, the slightly better one, and then the no compromise one that's stupid expensive. I've seen no one suggest this, but maybe a ceramic would make sense because it's very lightweight and still durable. I would feel odd about there being plastic smart glasses because I'm worried about them cracking or breaking if being placed on a chair or a couch or something. Like, I'm worried about the durability here because of how much tech is inside them that I feel like Apple will have to put some type of premium material around them. So that's what makes me think, like the Apple Watch, they would probably have an aluminum casing for even the base model. But a very, very thin layer, like, yes, you can break Apple glass in your hands if you want to. The bend test will not go well.
So Apple's not going to be giving them to jerry-rig everything.
No, they won't give him anything, but he will get his hands on.
So, I remember the first time I experienced indestructible glasses, quote unquote. In the Marine Corps, we have this terminology called BCG glasses. It stands for birth control glasses because nobody will want you. So it's the best birth control. Like they'll look, you wear them and they don't want anything to do with you. But the universal term across the military is called BCGs. These BCGs, you can run over them with a tank and they won't break.
What are they are?
Plastic.
Is it
It's a very
flex.
It's a very flexible plastic. It's a very flexible plastic, and there's other materials in there. But the point of it is that it was supposed to be completely durable. They're meant to be for hard use in the field. If you're a mechanic,
oh my gosh,
if you're
those things are ugly.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
God.
Yeah, they're pretty bad, but they get the job done.
Yeah.
Okay.
In modern day, so they give you those as a recruit strictly to humiliate you. So enjoy those. But that material exists in the real world. Like I call it the real world because nothing in the military is real. It's all games and stuff. But
right,
anyway, for on the civilian side, you can definitely buy those types of things. And there it is. I'm having flashbacks. But anyway,
they don't have electronics in them.
They don't have electronics in them. But what I'm saying is that like I
You can get them for $9 on eBay, Randy.
Yes, because the material it's not as expensive as people might think that they are. It's completely cost efficient and effective. They're just not the best looking thing. But with Apple, you're gonna put aesthetic to it. I have every belief that there will be a plastic version of it that will be durable, that you can sit on and nothing will happen. I wouldn't recommend running over them with a car. It might not be that durable, but you can make a cheap end material be very flexible, universal, and compatible with hands-on workers and stuff like that, and get the job done. If you need eye protection for soldering or what have you, I mean, those things would work just as well as anything else out there. I think there will be an addition where you might get. I don't know about ceramic. I find that one very interesting, but it'd be cool.
Lighter than steel.
That would be very Apple of them, and I'm all for it. Just so you can have a status symbol of sorts. I can see some premium material like that. But your middle one, if there's 3, you have the plastic, you have something like the ceramic, and then you'll have one of the steel frames that you get that is also durable. It's kind of bendy as well. And to your benefit, you would want those to bend because you can help it morph to your head better than something that's very rigid, and it would put pressure on your temples and give you headaches. Anybody who wears glasses knows exactly what I'm talking about, where after a couple hours, you just got to take those suckers off. Like your temples, you get headaches wearing glasses sometimes if they're not the perfect fit. These light steel frames that they have that bend, take that away. Think of like wearing Oakley sunglasses for anybody who wears those things. Like they're appealing because they're so light and flexible, and they don't give you a headache. Think of them like Bose headphones with the cushion, but for your tempos. It's kind of like that. Yeah.
So
very, very flexible.
you brought up a good point, Randy. Customizability and fit of the glasses themselves. Will they have more than the comparable 38 and 44 millimeter versions? Like, will they just have 2 size options, and then you're kind of just stuck with it if they don't fit? Like the AirPods originally with the ear pods, they just had that, and if it didn't fit in your ear, sorry.
Well, now I'm going to tell you. Traditional sense of what happens with glasses is when you take them in with your prescription, and how does this look? How does it fit? Because they're trying to see where is the pinpoint of where they're going to put your prescription.
Are they going to have
the
to do that
center
at
of
an
the eyes.
Apple store? Oh, I sure hope they hit that.
No, I think you're gonna. The frames aren't going to be that unique in the sense that you'll be able to go to a lens crafters or what have you. 100%, there's a collaboration that's going to happen there for sure. But when you go in, when you put on the glasses, they always check your alignment, like how does that feel, how does that look, and then if you're like, well, it's kind of tight, where they have these materials that help you kind of bend it and morph it a little bit more. It basically superheats up the plastic so it can bend it better, and then you put it back on, which is why I see plastic or even some type of bending material being a case here. You're gonna want them to be completely adjustable in the sense that everybody has different face sizes. Like watches, okay, we all have a wrist in some form or another, and there's different sizes for the watch bands. But your face, like that's more unique than wristbands and stuff like that. You will need to go into a store in that sense and have them take a look at it. I don't think it's going to be simple as 2 forms. What they do is they bend the back end. I don't got my, oh, here we go. Sunglasses. So what they do is if this part right here, here, I'll show you guys. There you go. So this part right here is where your ear sits. If this is too big or too small, they will bend it more, and you'll just have more feed that will go in the back right here. So this part can bend more, and then it's for a smaller head. Or if it's not fitting right, they'll bend these ones out more. And if they bend these out more, then it's for the bigger head. It can just rest further. So that's how you're going to adjust it. It's going to be in the arms, the arms of the frames. That's the
So
part
where are the
that's going to help them
electronics
adjust.
going?
Oh, well, I don't even. I gotta see the video first or the photo, whatever else. I would assume it's gonna be right here.
They haven't got that far yet. They haven't figured out where they're putting the computers.
If they figure that out, we'd have them by now. I'm just kidding. I'm just telling you how it works. Like form over function will have to be highly. Like that's considered right here more before anything else. Like that's how it works today with glasses from frames and stuff like that, and you can't change that. Like that becomes like almost a borderline medical need. You should not screw with that. Don't change it because no one will buy those things. If you say you have to have it like this, no one's gonna buy them if they can't live and coexist with these
I would
things
buy
on their
them,
face.
but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, like,
I think
it's a very big push for people who need prescriptions and stuff like that. The
Like
tech is
Tim.
cool. Like Tim. Yeah, what would Tim wear?
Tim wears some very expensive
Maybe-
brand. I looked it up once. It's, I don't know,
I never
So-
looked at that.
lots of thousands
Yeah.
of dollars.
I was just thinking, you would know that, wouldn't you?
I would what?
You would know what kind of glasses Tim wears.
That's a nickname.
I didn't get the band, guys. My gosh.
Doesn't matter.
Oh my God. Do we have any last thoughts? We got to wrap up.
Oh my gosh.
The more I think about the
Where did
glasses,
the
the more
last hour
complex
go?
they sound. It
Went
gets
into
harder and
iPad.
harder to wrap my head around every time we talk about them. I'm like, oh yeah, they would have to think of that, and they would also have to have something like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is gonna be tough.
Either they're going to look real bulky and ugly, or they're not going to do much. Those are the two options.
Apple's put a
both.
lot of years into this, and I think they have a solution for all this stuff because they put way more thought into it than we have. They have
Well,
teams dedicated
I mean,
to it.
if we
They'll
couldn't
figure
figure out it out in an hour and 20 minutes, there's no way Apple could. Like,
That's true. My
Absolutely
guess
not.
is they're gonna take their time, and they're not gonna release them until they're ready. They're not gonna rush. They're not gonna rush these things. But anyway, Thank you all for listening. We'll catch you all next week when we can talk about the products that launched on the day this episode aired. Bye, everyone.
Bye.